Are you ready to be the best that you can be? Join hybrid business coach and consultant Charity Brown and her guest as they give you behind-the-scenes access to the insider tips and tricks that will help you take your business to the next level. Charity has an extraordinary approach to boosting businesses to break out of their modes, influence their industries, and become leaders of their packs. And she's ready to pass this inspiring knowledge on to you today. Learn how to change your game and build your business into what you've always dreamed of, right here on the Create Clarity with Charity podcast.
Hello, and welcome to Create Clarity with Charity. Today, I have an amazing guest, Michael Balchan with Heroic, Chief of Staff and Master Coach. It's such a delight to have you here, Michael. How are you?
I am fantastic there, Charity. Thanks for having me. It's Monday. I know when we're filming this, it probably won't be Monday when it gets released, but happy Monday. I love Mondays. Just like starting the week strong, ready to go. Win Monday and you create momentum for the rest of the week. So happy Monday. Fired up to be here.
Yes. Happy Monday, everyone out there. So today we are going to really hone in on this amazing opportunity that he's bringing to you guys, my audience out here. We are going to really give you an opportunity to shift and change your life and really harness some amazing tools. I'm really excited to talk about it because what you're doing is really revolutionary. So let's get down to the details. So Heroic, let's talk about Heroic and the mission of Heroic.
Sure. So Heroic is a social training platform that's built to change the world. And our goal is to help create a world in which 51% of the population is flourishing by the year 2051. We actually borrowed that goal from positive psychology. So one of our friends and dear mentors, James Pawelski, was with Martin Seligman at the University of Pennsylvania when positive psychology was just getting started. And they were talking about what are our goals in positive psychology. And James said, we need a moonshot goal, like something that's really far out there, like let's go for it. And Martin Seligman, who's a self-proclaimed curmudgeon, was like, no, that's silly. Definitely not. Came back the next day and he said, I've got it. And James said, what? And Marty said, our moonshot goal, 51% of the world's population flourishing by the year 2051. First time we heard that, we thought that was crazy. We still think that's a little bit crazy, and it's within the realm of possible. So we're committed to doing everything that we possibly can to help each individual one of us to flourish. We're not saying we're going to directly impact 51% of the world, but if we each can be the best, most heroic versions of ourselves and help others around us do the same, these ripples are going to spread outward so that we can have a world that is flourishing. What does actually flourishing even mean? I know that's a standard follow-up question. Yeah. So ancient wisdom and modern science agree on this point. In ancient wisdom, you would ask them, what is the ultimate purpose of life? They'd say eudaimonia. It's a Greek word, literally translates as good soul. It means something like expressing the best version of yourself. Positive psychology, when they started the positive psychology movement, they came up with the exact same thing. They said it's flourishing. Expressing this best for yourself, this deep, deep sense of happiness, not just like all sunshine and roses and rainbows and unicorns and lollipops kind of happiness, but this deep sense of living in integrity with who you are at your core, going through challenges, emerging on the other side of them stronger, being called to show up as the best version of yourself. Flourish. Ancient wisdom, by the way, says there's a key to doing that. Arte, I've got it tattooed on my forearm, literally means to express the best version of ourselves moment to moment to moment. It's typically translated as virtue or excellence, but it has that deeper meaning. In positive psychology, to say, put your virtues into action. We want to live with virtue, not just like up in our heads, but actually in the world. Put our virtues into action. And they actually also agree on the virtues that we need to put into action. So we have baked this into a virtue compass. If you are looking for a direction in your life, if you are looking for clarity in your life, put these virtues into action. They're not our virtues. They're the shared virtues of ancient wisdom and of modern science. It starts with wisdom. We need to know the game we're playing and how to play it well. And we got to anchor that, have self-mastery, have discipline. I have structural, reactive, and expansive discipline. If you know the game that you're playing, which is your life, it's not other people's lives, it's not the weather, it's not global geopolitical events, that is outside of our control. Byron Katie would say we need to love what is. I know the game that I am playing and I'm disciplined. I have the self-mastery to actually play that game well today. We want to live with courage. They would say this is the heartbeat of all the virtues. If we don't have courage, we're going to have a hard time showing up to the challenges in life. So courage, I am willing to take action in the presence of fear. Doesn't mean they were always taking action. Sometimes doing nothing is the smart choice, right? You don't jump out of an airplane without a parachute on. We need to be willing to take action in the presence of fear. And then love. It's got to be about something greater than ourselves. I am present, I'm connected, I am genuine, I am generous, I'm encouraging. Wisdom, self-mastery, courage, and love are cardinal virtues. And then again, all ancient wisdom traditions agree upon those, whether there's the secular religion traditions of Stoicism in ancient Greece, or the religious traditions around Christianity or Judaism or Islam or Buddhism or Taoism. They all share these common 4 virtues. And then the positive psychologist said, okay, well, we want to go even deeper. What are the virtues most highly associated with flourishing, with well-being? Hope, gratitude, curiosity, and zest. So there's actually 5. Love counts twice. It's the virtue that counts twice. So that is what we are trying to do really, really well. Help people live with virtue moment to moment to moment. Help people express the best version of themselves moment to moment to moment by moving from theory to practice to mastery. Most of us know what we could be doing on a day-to-day basis, but it's often a challenge to actually do those things. How do you actually live with virtue? How do you actually express the best version of yourself? We built this platform, and all of our training materials, our free resources, our training platform, our coach program are all geared around, can you close the gap between who you're capable of being and who you're actually being moment to moment to moment to moment by making the choice to show up as the best version of yourself more and more consistently.
Yeah. Well, we all need that. I mean, and obviously to change the world in the state that we're all in, if we all just practice that, what a beautiful place this earth would be, right?
Yeah. Emphasis on all too, right? Like we're only going to do it one person at a time, right? Each of us needs to be responsible for ourselves. But when we collectively come together and we do that, we have the chance of really having a positive impact. The ripples will spread outward again. And the future we're really excited about. We're really excited to see what happens when more and more of us are showing up with this intention, with this purpose.
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of my audience are entrepreneurs, you know, they may not really know about the importance of coaching, right? The importance of finding somebody who's mastered these skills and put it into a platform where you can actually implement it, because, you know, you can talk about it all day. Like we can read about it all day, but how do we embody that? Right. And that is what you guys have put together in your platform. So let's talk about the geniusness of all that. Like, I know you're like a Harvard grad, right? You came from a finance background. So you've been through the gauntlet in regards to education but let's talk about that personal journey that took you from being a financier into being a coach and helping people transform their life. And because I think it's really important for people to understand, the audience to know, you know, that they could do it too. They don't have to stay stuck in what they're doing.
So I was one of those people who were like, I don't want to coach. I don't need to coach. Coaching is silly. What even is that? I get that. And backing up, again, all the things that we have introduced into this platform, they're not necessarily new ideas per se. They're old ideas. This challenge of expressing the best version of ourselves, of choosing virtue vis-a-vis viciousness, it's a 2,500 at least year old challenge. Since recorded human history, people have been struggling with this challenge. Can I, in that moment, be the best version of myself? Can I, if I'm in a career, in a life path that is not super in alignment with who I actually want to be, can I make a courageous choice to shift something, to make a small change, to take some action more in alignment with what I want to be? So personal journey, Harvard graduate, people are excited by that. I very rarely, if not never, lead with that. Most people, if they meet me, would not know until like months or years later. It was not a goal of mine as a kid. I wanted to go to a good school. Didn't come from a super wealthy, super privileged background, though also didn't come from a lot of trauma or poverty. It was kind of middle of the road, and had getting to a good school as like basically the horizon of my future forecasting. That was it. Checked the box on a common application, went there, graduated, fell into finance. It was exciting and fun, and other people were applying for it. It was not my soul's passion, but it was something that I thought would give me a good foundation in the professional world, and kind of had this idea of let me work here for 5 years, make so much money that I can retire and just, live out the rest of my days on a beach somewhere. I know we were talking about Mexico a little bit. I'm like, I love Mexico. Let's make so much money I can retire to Mexico.
Yeah.
And then early on also saw, it's a tough industry. There's a lot of stress. There's a lot of pressure. It has its toll. And so I got really intentional into how do I perform the best that I possibly can in this role, be a great trader, and train my mind to be a great trader, train my physiology, but also really take care of myself, really take care of my body so I can have not just a short career, but potential longevity in this and have a good life outside of work as well. So got really into personal development, read all the books, speed reading, taught speed reading classes, took like hundreds of courses online, like you name the platform, I've taken at least one course on it, on everything from productivity and spreadsheets and to like leadership or management to astronomy and physics and quantum, like just interested in the world and how it worked.
Yeah.
Eventually found Brian Johnson. So somebody forwarded me, they knew what I was into. They're like, hey, I think you might really like this. They forwarded me what's called a philosopher's note, 6-page PDF and 20-minute MP3 that breaks down the big ideas from one of the world's best books. It was awesome. Here I was like, it's going to take me a lifetime to study all this stuff. I found Brian's work, like, this is amazing. It's only going to take me a couple of years. And I committed to reading one of these philosopher's notes every other day. Let me learn the big ideas from one of the greatest books constantly, never ending learning, right? Leaders are learners. And I made that commitment. And I found Brian as a teacher to help me learn all this wisdom. Mm-hmm. Fast forward towards the end of my trading career. So around that 5-year mark, I started to get this sense of sadness and I didn't know what it was coming from. And I realized it was because I hadn't made, the multi tens of millions of dollars that I wanted to retire to that beach in Mexico. Mm-hmm. And I was disappointed that I'd fallen short of this goal. And it took me a couple of months to realize like, oh, that's why I'm not feeling happy, because I set this timeline for 5 years and I'm not going to be able to hit it. Stayed in finance for another 3 to 4 years, but started exploring what might be next, what might be after this. And people were asking me questions. I think a lot of folks who are in the coaching space are the people who others are asking them questions. Hey, love to get your take on this. Hey, I'd love to get some of your advice. They see what they're doing. And that started happening to me. And I eventually realized, I read a great book called The Prosperous Coach by Steve Chandler and Rich Lippman. I thought, wow, this is how you can create a professional coaching practice in a way that felt, one, like it resonated, two, like it would actually work, and began to build a professional coaching practice using all the wisdom, all the tools that I had learned from Brian through the philosopher's notes. And then in 2011, after having had my one-on-one practice and group practice for, 3 or 4 years, went to a live event that Brian was hosting, connected with him, started working with him soon after. And in 2019, we launched the coach certification program. So 11,000 people from 115 countries have gone through that certification program. It is scientifically proven to change lives. One of the world's leading wellness labs ran the study for us, and paraphrasing, they said, if I hadn't run the data myself, I would have thought it was fake. It had such positive results. And then we weren't surprised. The anecdotal feedback coming was, this is amazing, this is amazing, this is amazing. And everything that we were asking people to do was scientifically proven individually, right? Like meditation, it's a good idea. Train your mind. Move your body. It's a good idea. It's like taking a little bit of Ritalin and a little bit of Prozac. You want to be depressed? Don't work out. Like don't work out and don't sleep well. Those are really quick ticket to ick. So having people do things that are independently scientifically proven as a whole as part of a training program, taking all this ancient wisdom and modern science that Brian had spent decades distilling into this short form content, putting in the coach certification program, I was not really surprised that it was scientifically proven. And then
so it's not
300 days is a lot. Yeah.
That's amazing. So it's not just a mindset coaching program. It's actually a certification program. So you can be certified as a heroic founding.
As a heroic coach.
As a heroic coach.
Yeah. So
there are coaches out there these days, right? And they don't have certifications. They're just like jumping on the coaching train, right? Everyone's like, oh, you make lots of money coaching. So just say positive stuff to everybody and, get people to change their mindset and they'll pay you $25,000, right? So it's kind of like, this is different though, because this is holding them accountable to the framework, right? And giving them something that they can teach to others. So let's talk about
it. And our, I don't know if you can see it. I turn off my self view so I don't get all self-conscious, but somewhere up there, there's a diploma. And on the diploma, to earn it, you don't say, I know this stuff. You don't take a test and say A, B, C, or D, C, D, A, multiple choice, fill in the blank. To earn the certification, you have to actually be doing the things that you say are important to you. Yeah. We have 7 fundamentals: eating, moving, sleeping, breathing, focusing, celebrating, and prospering. If you are eating, following a nutritional philosophy, if you are moving your body every day, if you are meditating every day, if you are journaling every day, if you are training your breath every day, if you are practicing gratitude every day, that's what it takes to earn one of our certifications. And again, we realize like that is not for everybody. 300 days is a lot. That's a really intense program. How do we make it accessible to anybody? And that's where the Heroic Social Training Platform came in. We took all the best parts of the coach program and distilled it into a practice that takes just 3 minutes a day that you can get on your phone. But before we get into it, I know you asked about coaches in general, and if somebody wants a coach or someone's going to start a coaching practice, and what does that look like? And I think it's a really interesting industry, right? Because there's no barrier to entry. Someone can raise their hand and say, I'm a coach. There are a lot of people who are enticed by what they perceive to be the personal benefits of coaching, right? You say, I can make lots of money. I'm not going to have to work very many hours. It's location independent. I know a lot more jobs location independent now, et cetera. And it's this interesting thing that a lot of people are attracted to. But we chose in our branding, as you'll see, like we went dark. It is dark mode. Life has challenges. Our world is full of challenges. We need to embrace the fact that something is challenging. And particularly if we're trying to get into an industry where there's a lot of competition from anybody, right? Yeah. And people don't understand what it is. There's this interesting personal dynamic of, okay, what is a coach? Do I need a coach? Like, I think I'm good enough as it is already. It is a lot of hard work to build a thriving coaching practice. And if you're going in thinking this is going to be easy, awesome, like that's the sunshine and rainbows, right? The white, blue skies with white puffy clouds, like that is not it. So we want to embrace that building a coaching practice, like anything in life, is challenging. Any single thing in life, everything has challenges. And we want to be the light within that darkness, starting with ourselves, to show up more consistently as the best version of ourselves. And having a coach or having a tool that offers coaching, I'm sure everyone that's listening to your podcast in some way feels like you are their coach, whether or not many of them, I'm sure, are also working with you independently, but they're getting this feedback from you. They're getting this coaching and guidance from you. We do that. We seek other support because we can grow faster when we have others that are holding us accountable, when we have others who have different perspectives that we might not have. Even, and many people have experienced like, I'm so good at giving advice, I just can't follow my own advice. When someone else asks me, it's easy. I know exactly what they should do because we're able to shift perspective and not be so fixed on the way that we are seeing the world or think that the world is. Getting someone else's perspective, getting someone else's feedback can be really, really, really valuable and powerful for helping us to grow, to see the world in a different way, to overcome the challenges that we are facing and move into any opportunities that we might be excited about.
I mean, it's so key. And I mean, my book, the Create Clarity with Charity book, the podcast, it's all about reaching out to mentors and reaching out to, getting that key expert advice and where you would be if you don't do that and where you will be if you do, and take the risk and say, okay, I need to learn this from somebody who's already been there, done it, and has like mastered it. Right. And that's what you guys have done. I mean, there's like, I've watched several of the videos from Brian, and just like, it's just spot on. It's really about that evolutionary entrepreneur or a person just claiming their life, standing for what they believe, really dialing into their vision and dreams, implementing it, being accountable to themselves. It's like, be true to thyself type of system, right? You need to dial in that inner compass, get all your coordinates set and ready for success. Like you literally have to work it. And that's one thing that a lot of people don't realize what coaching is, because they just think that it's like rainbows and unicorns, it's just positive thinking and all these affirmations and blah, blah, blah. Right. And there's like, some people would say, oh, well, talk is cheap. You can say a lot of things, but how are you going to get me to actually do it? So with your guys' system, let's talk about like that, like how you have the app set up that keeps everyone dialed in, that it's so affordable that really anyone can be a founding member at this point, right?
Yeah. And actually, there's so many brilliant things that you touched on that I want to, you got a great page up right now. I don't know if you're still screen sharing.
Yeah, I am.
Externally. So closing the gap between who are capable of being and who are actually being, right? Everything boils down to this. There's a version of ourselves that we're capable of being in any given moment. And there's the version of ourselves that we're actually being in any given moment. And to the extent that we can close that gap and actually be who we're capable of being, we're going to feel good. Having a coach will help us both say, this is what you're capable of, and let me help you to close that gap more and more consistently. You also mentioned this having that inner compass, right? And we've got this virtue compass. Mm-hmm. If anyone's actually ever navigated with a compass, I have a working prototype compass here that has our virtues in it. There's one in the app now, but this was an early physical. If you've ever used a compass to navigate, there's a couple things that are interesting. One, very few people are actually going straight north, and like North Pole is my destination, and I'm just going straight north. The compass is just telling you roughly where you are, what a certain direction is, and you need to know then, where am I going, and start taking that next step, taking that next step, taking that next step. So you asked how I do this. Theory to practice to master. I think it's like the third page there. We need to move from theory to practice to mastery. Mm-hmm. Most of us know what we could be doing on a day-to-day basis. If we don't know, we're probably deceiving ourselves, and it's really easy to figure it out by reading a great book or listening to a great podcast, etc. But we don't need more theory. We need to take the things we already know that we could be doing and put them into practice, actually do what we know that we could be doing. Exactly. Do that over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, and we achieve mastery. They say a good master's journey, for every mile the master moves closer to the destination moves 2 miles further away. And it's true. And yet so many of us are like, I can't wait to get to the finish line, right? Me and my old finance, I can't wait to be retired, so I don't have to work anymore. Wouldn't that be amazing? There's this tendency to chase this finish line, thinking at some point I'll get there and no longer have to do any work. But life, until it's actually over, will never be at the finish line. So we need to recognize, like, whatever goals we're setting, there's always going to be more goals, always be more goals. Show up day in and day out, day in and day out, day in and day out, actually doing what we know that we could be doing. So our process, the simplest version of it, energy, work, and love, identities, virtues, behaviors. So this, I think, is that page you're going to, page 5. Like to say a good life boils down to 3 things: energy, work, and love. We call those the big 3. Freud says the essence of a good human life is work and love. We disagree with the good doctor on many things. That's one that feels right. But it's going to be hard to show up at our best in our work and our love if we're not feeling energized. If we don't have the energy to get out of bed in the morning, or just we're tired and hungry, etc., we're gonna have a hard time showing up. I'm a worse person when I'm tired. Like, you can ask my wife, ask my daughters. I'm just different. So we got to get our energy dialed in. We got to show up powerfully to our work, our creative contribution, right? Our purpose to the broader society, and then to our love, the people that we care most about. Maybe it's an immediate family, or friends and family, or community. Love has many, many different definitions that go far above and beyond our traditional, intimate friends and partners, etc. Mm-hmm. So energy, work, and love, that's our big 3. We encourage people to find their identities, virtues, and behaviors. Your identity, who are you at your best? Mm-hmm. Close your eyes, think about that. When is the time that I have been at my best energy-wise?
Yeah.
What comes to mind? When have I been at my best work-wise? When have I been at my best love-wise? And how might I describe that version of myself? Maybe it's an athlete, or a yogi, or a world champion, or an Olympian, or a dancer, or my wife's has some expletives that are like soul cycle fueled in them. But who are you at your best? Come up with an identity. How does that best version of you show up? What are the virtues or the qualities that you embody? Are you present, kind, powerful, connected, genuine, generous, encouraging, courageous, hopeful, grateful? What other virtues? How do you show up when you're at your best? And then most importantly, what are you actually going to do today to live in alignment with that best version of yourself? So it's one thing to say like, yep, I want to build a business. It's another thing to actually day in and day out do the work that it takes to build that business. Reach out to the prospective clients, publish that new piece of content, whatever it is. It's one thing to say, I want to be in, great shape, or I want to run a marathon or a triathlon or try out for the Olympics or whatever it is. It's another thing to actually do the work day in and day out that leads to that outcome being successful. So we invite, and the app is built around committing to who you are at your best in energy, work, and love, committing to the virtues that you are wanting to put into action today, and then the behaviors, the targets that you're actually going to do today to live in line with the best version of yourself. And then as you go throughout the course of your day and you actually do the things that you said you were going to do, you get to hit those targets with a swipe. So we worked really hard with one of the world's best product design firms to come up with this swipe gesture that's addicting. So they helped create the Tinder swipe gesture, right? Like swipe left, swipe right. We came up with this target swipe where you pull your target back and there's this tautness. The device has haptic feedback and you release it. It shoots the arrow. I'll shoot an arrow here. Let's see, work. We'll say crushing it. So I got this. Boom. I'm doing the thing that I said I wanted to do. And every time we do that thing that we say we want to do, we want to celebrate it. Celebrate it. BJ Fogg's yeah, exactly. BJ Fogg's one of the world's leading experts in the science of behavior change. He's out of Stanford. Most of the addicting apps you use, their creators were students of BJ Fogg, so then took his ideas and put them out into the world. So he says celebrating at one point is going to be the next gratitude. Celebrate. We need to, every single time we do something that's in line with the best version of ourselves or that we want to be doing, celebrate immediately and intensely. Imagine you just scored the game-winning goal at the World Cup, or you just completed what are the crazy tricks Simone Biles does, winning gold medals in the gymnastics, delivered a performance that was awesome. Goosebumps. How would you celebrate? Huge fist bump, just filling your body with this sense of feel good dopamine and endorphins. If we can get ourselves to do that or have a similar joyful dopamine hit every time we do something that we said we wanted to do, our brain starts to look for opportunities to do that. Our brain wants to feel good. So, for example, one of my targets is respond to a bid. This is a love target. I see you here. You're in, yeah, perfect. You're in love. So there you go. Or dominate the dishes. I love making my kitchen spotless at the end of the night. And after I dominate the dishes, which for me is an act of love, self-love, because I love the clean space, love for my family because we're entering in a clean space. There's not dirty dishes in the sink all the time. I'll come back to the app. I'll hit that target and I get so stoked. Yep, I did the thing that I said I wanted to do. And I celebrate that. And I look for these opportunities to do what I said I wanted to do. And it is so addicting. My almost 4-year-old daughter has her own account. And you don't need the app. Just to be clear, you don't need the app to do this. Our coach program for the first 3 years, we had people doing this on pen and paper in a journal, writing down their identities, writing down their virtues, writing down the behaviors that they were going to do. And it's life-changing. So take this, we'll get downloadable workbooks you can actually fill out and do that. The app makes it much, much easier. And the app makes the celebrating part really fun. But bring it back to my daughter. She's got targets that she hits. Take a nap, listen to mom and dad, have a dance party. We just added a target this morning that I might not get the language exactly right, but it's something like, keep my fingers out of where they don't belong. She's been picking her nose and biting her fingers. Let's make a target for this. And we literally just had this conversation this morning. I said, sweetie, anytime you notice yourself starting to, put your finger somewhere it doesn't belong, I want you to try and stop. And if you stop, I want you to celebrate. And if we're around, you come find me, we'll hit the target for you. And if you're at school and I'm not around, I want you to go, yes. And so she practiced, she went for her nose and she stopped and she went, yes. And I'm sorry, Dylan, at some point in the future, if you hear this and I'm telling people that you picked your nose, but it was a really fun moment to see her change her behavior. She's walked into my office last week or 2 weeks ago. She's like, I made my bed, Dada. She's never makes her bed. She's made her bed every day for a week because it's one of her targets.
Nice.
She wants to hit the target. We all want this sense of celebratory, like, yes, I did the thing that I said was important to me.
And we don't get enough of that. That's literally our problem, that we never celebrate us. Like all the years of schooling and being a mother and parenting and making it through, I was never looking in the mirror going, you win today. You did it. Wow. Another degree. Woo. You know, it was more like just, you know, grind and grind. So to bring all that back to fulfilling ourselves and like saying, hey, you know, we're worth it and we need to celebrate us and our wins, even if it's just one win a day. What is that? And having that goal to say, I am worth it and I should celebrate. Does that kind of go with like NLP kind of programming or no?
Yeah. So NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, the brain, linguistic, words, programming, writing. And it basically means we can rewrite the programs in our mind by the words that we use. If I keep telling myself that I'm stupid, eventually I'm going to believe it. If I keep telling myself that I'm smart, I have a higher likelihood of doing what it takes to be someone who's smart. Optimism doesn't work all the time, right? Like there are times when having a rose-colored glasses on is not the thing that's actually needed because we're facing a challenge and we need to embrace the constraints of reality. Yeah. But NLP is a framework for rewiring our minds. Celebrating when we do the things we say we're going to do is another framework for rewiring our minds. We want to get our brains to the point where, and we got a great phrase, we spend a couple of months, maybe a month and a half on this in the coach program. And one of the objectives in basic training is on algorithms. So how to install habits that run on autopilot via algorithms. Yeah. We want to use our willpower wisely so that our brain is doing exactly what we want it to do without us needing to tell it every single time, hey, do this, do this, do this. So it's all about programming our minds, inclining our minds towards more virtuous behavior, towards more joyful behavior. But bringing it back to, so many of us are very goal-oriented, and that's not a bad thing. Human beings need goals. We need targets. That's why we call them targets. Now we need something to aim at. I want this, 51, 20, 51. But the challenge is many of us also attach our self-worth or attach our sense of efficacy to whether or not we're actually attaining those goals, rather than am I doing what it takes, am I following the process to potentially accomplish those goals. Scott Adams, How to Fail at Everything and Still Win Big is his book. He's got this great line, says goals are for losers. Because if you've got a goal and you're only going to win once that goal is achieved, then let's say it's a year from now. Today, I'm losing. I haven't achieved it. Tomorrow, I'm losing. I haven't achieved it. Not until I actually get that chance to accomplish that goal do I get the chance of winning, and then I've won, and then I'm setting the next goal. And so I'm always losing versus can I measure myself against the process? Am I showing up today and doing what needs done to put me in a position to win at this goal? And then celebrating every single time I do that thing. Again, if I want to run a marathon and my goal is, they would encourage us to pick something simple, like crazy, tiny, simple, put on my running shoes every day, not even go for a run, but my goal, just put on my running shoes. And every single time I put on my running shoes, I'm celebrating that. I get to win the entire time. And if you actually want to do the race, you should probably put some long runs in there and some short runs in there, et cetera. But celebrating that process, celebrating every time we are showing up as the best version of ourselves, not just waiting for these big outcomes. And if you are a leader in an organization, by the way, this is the key to helping employees feel motivated and feel connected and want to contribute. Teresa Amabile, The Power of Micro Wins, they've run research on this, and people are more motivated by the little wins day in and day out that get celebrated versus the big end of year or big multi-year project successes. So we want to celebrate those wins. We want to celebrate the process every single day, every single moment that we show up as that best version of ourselves.
Yeah. So how do we get them access to this? Like everybody's going to want to know, okay, I'm ready. Like what is the investment to change your entire life and get this app?
So we are currently in the final days of our founding membership offer. which is 50% off forever. I don't even know when this will be released, Charity, but we'll make sure that we get some sort of like a week or something to extend it for you. So it's $70 a year for the social training platform as a baseline.
$70, you guys. Did you hear that? Okay, this is like it's $50,000 of coaching to sign up for. I mean, it's unbelievably affordable.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
And then you can get the 50% off too with the founding membership. We have, I mentioned finding philosopher's notes early on in my journey, 600 PDF, 600 plus books broken down in 6-page PDF, 20 MP3s. There's 1,000 3 to 5 minute micro lesson, optimized plus ones, and there's 50 101 classes. So these are the top 10 big ideas on everything from purpose, productivity, leadership, creativity, energy, conquering depression, conquering cancer, etc. All of that's 100% free. So if you go to heroic.us, I think you enter your email address, get yourself hooked up with a free account. It used to be $100 a year, or we were running promotion for like $250 lifetime. Now it's absolutely free. Heroic bought Optimize, decided to make this resource, which was my absolute favorite paid personal development resource, absolutely free. We've got the training platform, $70 a year, and then we've got the coach program. So if you really want to go deep, move from theory to practice to mastery, this 300-day coach certification program. It used to be $1,000, which at $1,000 felt like a steal. I've done the other programs that are 2, 3, 5, 10, 15, 20 plus certifications. We've got a lot of other people do those too, and they come and they say ours is better. Thank you everybody for the positive feedback. Anyway, it used to be $1,000. Now it's only $300, and you get to bring a friend for free. Yes, that's crazy. Yes, I still kind of pinch myself every day because it's just ridiculous.
It is really unbelievable. I love it. I signed up. I downloaded the app. I got it on there. I became one of the founding members. I definitely recommend this for all you guys out there that want to experience coaching, want to get in their highest self, best aligned self, and really dial in for 2022. There's so much opportunity here to grow. So I can't even thank you enough, Michael, for being here and sharing with my audience what you guys have put together and that amazing goal for 2051 to, literally change the world. Because if we're all coming from this heart-centered, self-love place where we feel like we're our best selves, I think we would heal the earth as well. So it would be a wonderful goal to accomplish.
Yeah. Starting with you and me and us today, right? Not someday. What's one thing each of us can do to show up a little bit more as the best version of ourselves today?
Yeah.
A little bit more aware, a little bit more intentional, and we're excited. We're excited about it.
Yeah. So everyone check out heroic.us, right? Is the Instagram heroic PBC. Check out their Instagram page, follow them, watch all the amazing things that they are doing, and really commit to make a change in your life. And this will help you do that. So I am so excited that I got the opportunity to share this with my audience and to have you here, Michael, because it really is an amazing app and an amazing platform. And what you guys are doing is definitely changing lives. So thanks so much for being here. And is there any last words or insights that you'd like to with the audience?
Yeah, just thank you. We say it a lot, but it's always day one, right? Every single day is a new day one, no matter what happened yesterday, no matter what happened 10 minutes ago or 5 minutes ago or 1 minute ago. Can we in this moment show up as the best version of ourselves? We're excited about where we are. We're really, really excited about where we're going, releasing a social platform, more intense social elements in October 11th, 10/11/2022. The ones will become twos. So imagine having something like an Instagram or a Facebook, but without the brainstem hijacking to try and serve you ads and stuff.
Yeah.
That's coming soon.
Cool.
And yeah, just grateful and honored to be here as well. And I'm really excited to see what we can do together.
Yes, me too. And audience, I know I'm so excited for you guys to join too. So check them out and make sure to take action and dial into your best self, because that's why we're here. We want to give you guys the opportunity to really win. So in 2051, we can all stand together, united in love and heart-centered relationships and being our best self. So it's a beautiful goal. Thanks again, Michael, and everyone out there. Have a beautiful day.
Thanks, Charity.
Thanks. Chat soon, everyone. Bye.